Hello everybody. Welcome to the stream today. To the video, really, it's not really a stream. I say that because I almost clicked on go live, and that would have been a bit of a shock to my own self. Uh, I was in a bit of a meditative state because I just got out of doing the automatic writing, and I can't remember all of it, but from what I can remember, it's very poetic. Which is kind of funny now that I think about it. I didn't think about it while I was writing because I was just trying to get it out and finished. Uh, it's about flow. We're talking about flow today. So I've got a little flow chart, which is going to start off with being in flow. So what is that? What is being in flow? Obviously, this is just my perspective and my opinions. The channel is source, right? Source energy, you could see it as. But take what resonates as always and leave what doesn't. I have also got my cards that have created the journey of the Traveler's Oracle, and they are now up on Kickstarter. That didn't meet the goal last time, so now we have started another one, and that's already reached its goal. So it's definitely going to go forward, and it finishes at the end of this month. I'm also listening to some handpan music, as always, because it's really comforting to get into the flow of it. If I can get somewhere where I can get some music where I don't have to get like strikes or anything like that, I will do that and put it in the background. But it takes a lot of effort and time and work to like research and find all that because there's lots of little clauses and people can change their mind, and then I have to like take down videos or change how it all works. Luckily, none of these have funds, right? They're not funded by adverts and stuff, so usually it's fine. It's a small channel, but just in case, I want to make sure I respect their music. So, and I'll just leave it. All right. So, being in flow. So we're going to start now. The being in flow to me is to not be in the search or the hunt of a particular item, thing, or outcome, right? I might be in alignment with a particular goal. That could be like, I want to buy a house, right? And when you're in flow with that goal, it's great to have like the specific goal, but the desire to get like shortcuts or quick wins, in my opinion, can kind of rob us of the journey, rob us of the like learning and growth. You can kind of see that sometimes. There was this, I think, I can't remember what channel it was on, but this was a long time ago, and they followed a lot of young rich people or wealthy people, and I think it was basically in the United States, so it might have been a MTV or something like that. And you could see that there was like a lack of kind of understanding of how the world works. I remember they were filming this young person, and he was looking kind of like he was in like a I don't know, I think it was like a sports center or something like that, and then outside of the sports center, or a little bit further down, there was a guy looking for stuff in the rubbish, right? So a homeless person. And the young person even said, like, well, he probably earns just by begging and stuff around $1,000. I think it was like a week or something like that through begging, and this was a while ago. And it just showed like the lack of kind of like comprehension, right, of what happens in the world. But the reason why I'm even talking about that is it's not even really necessarily about flow, which is kind of funny because that's what this theme is, but it's just like sometimes going through the challenge and the hard stuff really does build up our strengths, right? If we look back and look at our challenges, we can see that we've grown a lot through the hard stuff. Sometimes we don't, we wouldn't have wanted to have that happen, but the fact of the matter, certain things have happened, certain situations and scenarios have played out through multiple different challenges, basically. And here we are, right? So what do we do with that? Do we hold on to the challenges and live in the past, right? To me, that would be going against flow. That would be, you know, holding it in and being like, I'm like this because of this. I'm this way because of this. This person forced me to feel like this. I remember listening to someone who was spiritual and they said they made me feel. And it was a person who was talking about AI. And it's interesting talking about AI made me feel, right? Because AI is not out there doing anything other than what it's been programmed to kind of do. But anyway, it was like the person was saying the AI made me feel like I wasn't a good writer because what they were producing was better, and it was kind of like cheating and stealing and that kind of thing. And in some cases, sure, that could be very, very true. Um, but it's not like the AI made you feel a particular way, right? You felt it. How do you move through that? I think resistance of change. Last week is about transformation, right? There's resistance of that, not going with the flow. It's like a full belief and trust. You could see it as if we were a caterpillar who had never turned into a butterfly, right? The trust and belief of going, okay, fine, I'm going to believe this situation where I just go into a stasis for a while, transform, and then turn into the butterfly. I'm just going to know that that's how my path is going to go. So do I struggle with it? Do I fight turning into the chrysalis? Do I just like, I don't know, be my caterpillar self and curl up and be like, no, I'm just going to die as a caterpillar? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like it's feeling like that. So to me, that would be resistance of being in flow. Also, being aware feels like that needs to be talked to, and awareness is, just noticing things that are happening in the world. Like recently, there was this. We have a lot of butterflies flying around our house, right? During summer and winter, because it's Brisbane, it stays fairly warm, and I remember just around Christmas, there was a blue butterfly flew up to the window, and I said, "Oh, there's a blue butterfly," and my partner was like, "Oh, was there?" That's usually, if that happens, his grandmother said that's like his grandfather checking in. This was like, they had the conversation a long time ago. I was like, oh, okay, well, there's usually a lot of blue butterflies. And it's like, was there? Is there? Like, just not even being aware of that stuff. So I went out one day, and instead of just going through my usual motions, I kind of like stopped and just like had a look around. Like, was just in I guess it's not really a search, but just like an awareness. And I stopped and I saw this gum moth caterpillar, this huge caterpillar, and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't even notice that before. And then I went to another plant and saw this giant cricket looking thing, and I was just like, wow, there's a lot of there's a lot to be seen out here. There's a lot of things that obviously camouflage for safety, but when you're just like I guess in full awareness, you see a lot more than you would normally, or what I would normally, because sometimes I'd go outside, drink my coffee, my cat would come up sometimes, and she gets really weird when I'm outside, and she'll like snuggle up, and then she'll get too playful and start getting a bit rough. And so usually I'm focused in on that, like saving my life from my cat. But yeah, not the cat, but just being in that awareness, or just like, oh, okay, you really don't see some of this stuff. And it is sometimes a blessing to have that awareness. But even when you're, let's just say, walking to work and you go through a garden, right? And let's just say it's like you always go through this garden or this what do you call it, park or something. If you stop and just like, no, maybe not even stop physically, but just look around, and instead of thinking about, okay, I need to get to here because I've got this going on, I've got this client coming in, I've got this going on, blah, blah, blah. Like all that stuff, you can't really do anything about it in this moment, right? You're going from A to B. So enjoy the environment, like look around, see the sun, see the people, look at the plants that are growing, the animals or the insects that are there, right? Just being, I don't know, in it instead of doing. It's kind of like that saying where people talk about human being instead of human doing, right? It's just like, you're going to the place, you're going to get there, you're going to, get to the sidewalk, cross the road or the lights, and walk up to the building. So while you're on that path, listen to music, be in like a calm state of mind. You don't need to focus so heavily on stuff that you don't need to do in that moment, if that makes sense. To me, that would be being in flow. If you're, there's so many, when I was doing the automatic writing, it broke it down into a lot of stuff, and I was like, I didn't even think of that. But it says like the difference with creative flow, right? That's picking up, like sometimes like a ritualistic thing, picking up the paintbrush and starting to like make sure you've got the colors, know what you maybe not exactly what you're going to draw, but what feels right, what colors feel right, what medium you want to paint in or draw in or whatever, that kind of thing, and then just starting to let it flow through. And I guess that's like slowing down the mind in a way. It's almost like a meditative state, I want to say. But that's kind of like one part, being in flow with source energy. That could be definitely doing a meditation to not clear the mind, but allow the mind to expand and see what's out there, what's in the I wouldn't say minefield, but that sounds like minefield. In the mind juices, whatever, I don't know. That's the worst thing I could have said. But anyway, just seeing all that stuff for what it is and not judging it, not criticizing, just allowing it to flow through, like literally flow through. There was this part that wanted to come through in my little checklist of the importance of being in flow. From what I feel, it's the importance of being in flow, just let's just say in general, like a big overarching flow theme. Being in flow is just an allowance, not holding on or needing to do something or be something in that moment. Unless that moment is you are talking in front of a crowd or something, right? Like that. There's no point talking in front of a crowd and then worrying about what other people are thinking, what you have at home that you're going to eat tonight, or like at food, right? It's to be in every moment consciously, but also allowing the subconscious energy to flow through. So what's important about that is to, I guess, give your all to the moment that you're in, even if it's resting and sleeping, right? It's allowing yourself to graciously sleep, or allow yourself to give yourself a break and rest, basically. So that's kind of like where my mind was going in regards to the importance of being in flow. I almost want to steal a little bit from the automatic writing, but I'll get into it. It does talk about like God, so you can say source energy if you prefer that, or ascended masters or guides, spirit guides, whatever feels more comfortable to you. I just wrote it out as I felt it needed to come through. In my mind, I was trying to switch it into like source or something, the universe or something more digestible, because like some people don't like the term God, but I'm just going to allow it to flow through. Like literally, while I'm talking about flow, I was almost starting to back it up, right? And try to customize it in a way that sounds more appropriate for this day and age. But really, I want it to come through naturally. So it was kind of funny to be talking about flow and also go through a process of like allowing it to just flow through. And that's how I kind of do readings as well. I try to allow it to flow through and be as natural as possible without getting too much in the head with the symbolisms of the card or the meanings of the card or the historical meanings of the card, right? That is all important, but also so is the intuition and the messages coming through. So it's like a smorgasbord rather than a law or an order, right? There's no law of like, if the Six of Cups comes up, right, it's always just this. There's nothing else it could be. I don't read like that. And that, to me, feels too rigid in regards to something that's so cosmic and expanded, right? Okay, so that's just my little 2 cents on flow. So we're going to go into the automatic writing. So yeah, take this as you see, or as you feel fits for you. So first part is easy, calm, breezy come to mind when talking about flow. Ancient civilizations understood that being one with consciousness, with the consciousness of God, was to be in true flow with the spirit of life. If you are talking about flow with creativity, you are in flow with fire, the ability to strike an easel and bring images into your reality. I don't know what an easel is. I'm pretty sure it's like, I'm pretty sure that's not right. I think it's like what popped up in my mind was like a paintbrush and paints. I think an easel, I actually don't know what an easel is. I'm pretty sure it's like to do with mortar and pestle, right? Isn't that like an easel? I don't know. Maybe you know. I'll try not to interrupt this too much. So to bring images into your reality, if you speak of flow with words, you speak as if you are the mouthpiece of God. Loving energy flows out your lips without much thought or judgment. If you speak of flow with spirit, you are in flow with your divine purpose to be who you are in this realm. To be in flow is to not, well, I misspelled that, I think, is to not constipate what is, but to release that which holds you back. So lay down on the raft in this stream of life and allow life to take you to your next destination. It almost sounds like poetry, hey? I was thinking about it, and at the end of it, it kind of reminded me of Khalil Gibran, and I'm not going to say that's anywhere near what he creates, right? The Prophet is amazing. But that's the kind of like how this came through, just kind of feels like maybe that kind of energy, right? That kind of not really energy, but that creative medium like poetry or like creative writing. So yeah, I mean, what do I say about this? I mean, it's all true, right? You know, to be in flow with spirit is to be in alignment with your divine purpose, right? Or your purpose of being here. It doesn't have to, like, divine purpose sometimes to me sounds too grand, and your purpose is, I feel anyway, for everyone's purpose is to just be and be who they are meant to be, or just be in the moment, be in the now. It's not a goal. It's more like the purpose doesn't feel like, it's not like a video game where you have to get to the end or go to these parts. It's almost like you just live your life freely and fully, and process whatever is going on in the moment, process whatever needs to be processed from the past, and you know, have goals and things in the future, right? It doesn't have to be like grand big things unless that's part of your purpose, right? Or you start to shift some of your life story or path into that direction, let's just say. What about this? I did like the speak. If you speak of flow, where was it? If you speak of flow with the words, like I kind of said with like, you know, if you're doing a production or like speaking in a play or like a conference or something like TED Talk, then you want to allow it to flow through without criticism or judgment of self, or even worrying about what other people are thinking at that moment, or like, you know, what's going on at home or anything like that, right? It's to be in that moment freely so you can allow what you need to come through, because you don't want to get to a point of like afterwards where you didn't feel like you said what you needed to say because you were too focused on other things. You know, you can only do your best at that each moment, and by being in flow, you're able to do that. So yeah, I don't know what else to say too much about it. It's more like a practice rather than a particular process in my head. If you wanted to know how I get into flow or into any kind of, I guess it's like getting into the now. Meditation does help. I'm pretty lazy with meditation. I will do it like a few times a week. Mostly I try to do at least once a week. And even if it's like 5 to 20 minutes, you know, that's fine. It doesn't have to be long-winded ones. Some people do like 2 hours, 3 hours a day. That's absolutely fine if that's possible, right? I think that will be really helpful. However, I don't do it. I don't expect other people to do it. And everyone has their own life, right? Of whether they can finish this, that, or the other, or whatever's going on. What else do I want to say about this? It's kind of funny with this. To be in flow is to not constipate what is, but to release that which holds you back. And I guess that's kind of interesting with release, right? To release the past is to let go and kind of like unplug, right? And I guess it's kind of like not a great a visual, but it is kind of constipation in the sense of constipated with like past issues or past things. I did a meditation for myself last night, and I just put on just like any music. It was kind of like binaural beats or something, and I just sat back, I lay down, and I didn't fall asleep this time, which is really, really good, because I usually fall asleep. But I was in it for about 20 minutes, and I felt like I was actively doing stuff. Like I was there, I was cutting cords with a lot of people, and it wasn't so that I never see them or meet them again, but it was to cut off the old parts that I still felt with them, and to allow the current connections that I have with those people in my life, because I don't want them out of my life, but it's just to cut the old. And there was about 3 or 4 people that popped up that I didn't even realize I needed to cut cords with. So it was really helpful. And even this morning, there was one person who popped up, and so I was like, okay, let's get the scissors out and cut the cords. It's just like cutting that. But it allows a lot more energy to flow through, and I was able to have a really, really good sleep. So much so that I almost slept until midday. It was just, I must have needed it. So yeah, it really does help. It really does help. It was weird when I woke up too, because I heard someone knock at the door, and I mustn't have been in real life because there was nothing there. There was no one there. And yeah, it was just very strange. I don't know what that was about. But anywho, we're going to switch over to a reading. Just going to move this out of the way. And I just want a message from Source about flow, right? See what Source wants to say. I'm just going to move the mic a little bit. If it makes a bumpy sound, it's just me. So I've got the Water Temple Oracle cards. I think they're quite good for flow, right? It's water. What else can you say about it? So we'll see what comes through. What message from Source or guides, whoever wants to come through. Yeah, interesting. Okay, cool. There's 2 sections here, so I'll show both cards. We've got the Goddess Kopakati. That's how I'd pronounce it. If it's wrong, sorry, but is it gonna? There we go. It says rebirth. I am reborn. Kind of a cool one, right? It's such a good alignment with the last reading, or the last video I created with rebirth, right? Well, like transformation. This is talking about rebirth. So this is shedding the old, like letting it go. Is how you get into flow. If it's like, oh, I've got this block, how do I remove it? What spiritual practice can I do? Go in and have a look. What is blocking you? Ask yourself, because we want to like find that it's like, oh, it's this person forcing me to feel like this, or it's like this demon that's following me around, right? And maybe there's some truth into that, but a lot of it is something within ourselves that we can let go of. That's how I feel, and so that's how you can get into flow. But yeah, I am reborn, really nice. And the second card that came through is this way. The Lourdes Grotto. There we go. The Lourdes Grotto with Sanctuary. I create an inner haven of peace. So this all is coming through to me with like, this is an inside job. This is an inside job to get into a flow state. And to get into a flow state isn't to just sit and be, right, all the time. Sometimes you may need that. Obviously, there's also action and rest. Like there's a multitude of things we have to do in life. But sometimes when you're in the flow, it's just like, all right, need to go get the kids, need to do this. So it's like, okay, cool. Right now I'm getting to this place, gonna get the kids. What can I listen to some music to like chill out, right, while I get there, or just like pump me up, right? Whatever. And then I've done that, cool. Now home, now I need to like make dinner. We've got this, cool. This is, it's just like, it's not like it's easy, but it makes the tasks that need to be played out now and in the future more smooth, is how it feels. And this card has multiple meanings. This Lore's Grotto, the sanctuary. One meaning that I usually take from it doesn't feel like it's all part of this particular message, but one part that I can take from it is having even a physical space in your house, or giving yourself time to relax, to just chill, to allow your head to, or your mind or your thoughts to just like be, right? To flow through, be free. Walking in nature sometimes does that. Meditation can help with that. Having free space away from screaming children or something like that might be like helpful, right? Even away from the partner or something like that. It's just for like maybe 5-10 minutes. I'm not saying abandon the family. It's just like give yourself some freedom. Give yourself a space to be organically and freely you. That can be the sanctuary, right? It can be like a physical sanctuary. And on the other side, which it kind of feels here, I create an inner haven of peace. This is an internal job. It's not like the external is going to be the thing that saves you. It's not like the crystals or the pictures of Buddha, or like, I say that because I'm looking at my crystals, look at the picture of Buddha, you know, the angels statue that I have, like all that stuff is nice to decorate the environment and just like create a healthy space, but it really does come to internally, like how do I feel internally? I watch this guy who does massages sometimes in India, and he lives in a very like humble place, right? And I'm not saying humble as in it's a house. This is like an open shack pretty much. But he like does his job, sails over to the river and then crosses the river back, and whatever money he like uses to buy a whole bunch of food and stuff, and then cooks it. He's like this, I guess he's like a single old man, and he's like shares it out to people, right? And he feels in flow. Like he doesn't feel like he is stressful or struggling. I don't think it's an easy life, of course, but he looks a lot more calmer than some of the most wealthiest people out there. So what does that mean, right? You know, what does that mean for how things flow? It's not to me it feels like it's not the external, it's the internal. It's the internal that needs care, love, and support, I want to say. There was one that was popping in mind, so I'm just gonna grab that deck of cards. So we'll grab some tarot cards and then I will probably conclude and finish up. Not sure how this reading will help, but maybe it'll just create a nice safe space, or a nice playing field for you to be comfortable within your own skin, within your own mind, right? To explore some of these themes or some of these ideas that are coming through in today's reading. It's tough because I feel like we're trained that at school, let's just say, or in this world, to have certain goals that we must meet, or you're only important if you get like an A or a B or whatever, like, you know, you get this, that, or the other. And like, while that does help in this 3D world, being in a state of peace and calm within and flow within is really going to be how you can stay fit, healthy, mentally supported, or mentally secure as things flow by. That other stuff is important as well, but an inner peace feels more important. So I'm just going to see what else wants to come through with this message. So these cards are the Cosmic Tarot. This is one that's kind of old. And some of the images kind of look like movie stars, I think, from the past. If you saw it just go dark then, it was just because my screen went dark. So I had to move my mouse. Okay. Let's see. I've got the Magician coming through. kind of a crazy looking magician, right? Looks very Egyptian in a way with the way their eye makeup looks and his blue face and the infinity symbol. Yeah, it really wants to double down on being in flow. It does not mean that you give up your goals or you become a minimalist or whatever, right? These are still part of your path and journey. It just feels like, I guess they just want to reconfirm that flow state does not mean lying back and just doing nothing, right? It's like act when you need to act, respond when you need to respond, notice where you are in all moments, be aware of your surroundings and your body and your feelings and your heart, right, at all times. Okay. We've also got the Three of Swords. This feels like that release I was talking about. This is reversed as well. It's an interesting Three of Swords too, because it looks like something has passed, has come to pass, and this is almost like a these people are laying someone to rest. Like it's gone, right? The past is the damn past. So when it's reversed, that can always feel like, you know how they talk about the swords coming out of the heart. This is like paying respect and farewell to a past aspect of self, to a person, a situation. It's like letting it go. All this with the magician is like in your capable hands. You're the creator and the master of how flow or how you co-create or live in flow. It's not like you can control flow, but you can control how you work and respond with it, right? It's like you can't control what someone's going to say, but you can control and respond how you respond to that, how you respond to that person who's saying whatever they're saying. Okay. Right, and lastly, we've got the Nine of Pentacles, which is kind of interesting. The Nine of Pentacles in this image is really lovely, right? She kind of feels like, what is it, a dilettante? I think it is, dilettante. Anyway, someone who's, sorry, not dilettante, it's a hedonist, I guess, which kind of always gets like a bad rap. But like, I guess the positive of a hedonist is someone who allows themselves to enjoy life, right? When this is reversed, it's not always like exactly what the card means, but in my mind and what I feel is like when it's reversed, it's not allowing not allowing the external to dictate what is important in your life, right? Letting yourself unfold within what is important in your life, what is meaningful and kind of like loving and caring in your life. How do I word that in a different way? It's really about knowing what your meaning and purpose is in your life in this moment. Your meaning in this life might be to collect cards and, you know, trade cards and collect stickers and trade stickers, who knows? And then in future, it might be to be a doctor, right? I don't know, whatever that is, something like that. But it's not about right now, you have to live in that future of like, I have to be a doctor, I have to be this, this, and this. Right now, cards and stickers are important. So allow yourself to enjoy those moments. There's like this idea of releasing the past and letting go and healing so you can be in flow. This is like kind of like the constipated thing, like it's blocked up with swords, right? So it's taking out those swords and allowing the heart to heal, or that rose to heal. And even here with this Nine of Pentacles, sometimes this is prudence too, and I don't think it's needed in a way. You know, sometimes she talks about enjoying I say she, it's not really her choice, but it's like to enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? And this one doesn't mean to not enjoy it. It's just to understand what the fruits of the labor are, to see what is out there and what you can be grateful for. I think getting into gratitude is a huge way of getting into flow. Being grateful for having a roof over your head, right? I talked about that guy in India who didn't have that, but if you watched him, I can't remember. I don't think he even has a channel. I think someone had a channel and they followed him for a while, just to give an idea of the life that he lives, right? And so they showed that, and you got to see a little bit more behind the scenes of like how he lives and all that kind of stuff. And to me, it looks like a really kind of challenging life, right? There's not a lot of stuff, but his inner world feels full because he's giving back to his community. He's like interacting with a lot of different people. He's able to provide a service where he can survive and also provide for the poorer people in his like little village or shack or whatever it was, what was going on, which felt really peaceful and nice, right? Which is so different to what we have been born into, which is a very like, this is mine, don't cross my lines, don't come in near my house if you're delivering something, right? That's okay, but otherwise get off my property type thing. Or, you know, I need to get this new phone because if I have this, I'll be happier, right? That kind of thing. It's like the real external is really taken over, whereas this felt very internal with him and very giving, still externally, right? But it's like sharing that wealth, sharing that love energy. So, yeah, this is probably a long topic, but I'm probably going to leave it there. In conclusion, we got like a few different cards, right? Sanctuary, which feels like the inner peace. Rebirth, which is like transformation in my mind, like letting go of stuff, shedding the old skin. She looks like some kind of siren, which could come up with like a whole bunch of different stuff. But the purpose of this card in this moment, I don't know Kopakata. You might want to look her up if you're interested. Excuse me. Is rebirth, right? It's shedding the old, letting go, cutting cords with the old energy, and allowing yourself to express yourself freely, I feel. Then we've got the Magician, which is in your hands, the Three of Swords, which talks about grief and loss sometimes, and when it's reversed, it's like moving on, moving forward. And the Nine of Pentacles, which sometimes can be like prudence, and also holding, not holding, but living the life you want to live. Like, it's not about having everything, it's about creating what is going to provide peace and happiness in your life, right? I kind of personally went through that in a way of thinking about it a long time ago when I went from full-time to part-time, and I was almost forced into part-time, or I felt like I was almost forced out of a particular team because I needed to, I think cosmically I needed to just move on. But I couldn't stay in that team with the way it was run and that kind of thing. Everyone else in the team was lovely, like the workers. It was just like the leadership was just very poor. And funnily enough, once I left, the leader left, the leader's leader left, another person that was a leader in that group left, and it was so much peaceful and so much better after that. But I'd already left the team, and some of those people in that team had left as well, because it just was like, it was just really bad. And so I think the word got around, and so they kind of preempted and just quickly scattered a few people who were, you know, was kind of like a clique, right? And it just wasn't good. But then I realized, oh, it got me to think, why am I so worried about making or working full-time, right? I can live quite peacefully and happily and have more time to do what I want to do in my life by going part-time. Yeah, it doesn't mean I can just go on a trip somewhere like every single time, right? Or whenever I want to, money-wise, but I can live quite comfortably and still do the things that I want to do. I might just have to save up a little bit right here and there, which isn't so bad. So it's like a really lucky, blessed kind of like experience, but it came through a struggle. And at the beginning of the reading, we talked about struggling and going through that. What else? I think that's going to be it. I think that's going to be it for this message. I hope this really helps you all out there. Especially now we're getting up to a time of a lot of distractions, a lot of commotion, right? And people in this day and era aren't so much trying to just focus on themselves, I don't think. You might think that we're getting worse. I think we're getting much better. And that's why all this stuff is coming up, all this kind of crazy stuff. If you need a break from the news, turn it off. Walk out of the room. If someone wants to watch it and they won't change the channel, get out of there. Just be like, I can't listen. I can't listen to this all the time. I need some break. That might be a good time to be like, okay, you watch the news. I'm going to go do a little quick meditation, or I'm going to go walk around a garden, or I'm going to go outside and, I don't know, just look at the stars or something. You know what I mean? Just like, whatever. Like, go do that. Go play a video game. Go watch a video on your phone. Whatever works for you. Because there's a lot of good that's happening, I feel. And to expose the shadows, you kind of have to put it into the light. I know I say that a lot and it sounds really cheesy, but it's true, right? If we walk in the room blindfolded, we can feel our way around and then we can leave and we can have a particular picture of what that place held. But if we go and turn on the light, we can see all of it. And maybe we didn't see, the kid in the corner drawing on the wall, or the cat scratching the chair and all the stuffings coming out of it, right? It's good to see that, because then we see this kid needs like some kind of discipline, or to like be told not to draw on the wall for whatever reason, or the cat needs to maybe get, okay, this cat is scratching the thing because it doesn't have a scratching place. Maybe we need to invest in that or get that right. It's like more information. So don't be afraid of what's happening at the moment. It might seem like the world is going very very nationalist, very strict, right? Very right side. And left, right really is just like, I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's just like, you don't want to turn those kind of belief systems or that kind of like idealism into a religion, or like fanatical, I think is probably a better word. You want to see it as just like, what is the meaning of this? Why is it coming through? What does it mean for me in my life? How does it impact me? Is it dragging my vibration energy down or up? And how does it impact me? And if it's really, really, really stressing you out, this message or this video might actually help with like hopefully unwinding some of that stuff, so you can just see it for what it is and not let those ideas or mental images or things control how you feel for the next like year, right? This whole year. It's the year of the snake if you go by lunar or Chinese astrology, right? So this feels like snakes shedding skin, letting go, breaking out, kind of like her, right? Kind of like old mate and her little snake looking tail, right? Shedding the old, and watching things come through that may not always be nice to see, but know that at least it's being exposed, so we can decide as a collective whether we decide to keep it or not. I think that's it. That's all I had to say. Hopefully this really helps you. If you have any questions, anything, let me know. I don't have any processes of like, I think someone was asking me recently about like, oh, how do you do this meditation you were talking about? It's like, I just do a meditation. I don't have like a particular style, right? I don't just be like, okay, so I do this. I just let it flow, because too much structure is nice, but like I'm quite happy for the structure to be like the whole universe, right? That's enough structure. I don't need to like bring it all the way into me and then be like, it's too much. It's too strict and rigid, and I don't like strict or rigid personally. I get the benefit of structure, and I like structure in my life, right? I like to make sure that every night I go into my own bed and sleep. I don't really want to be like, oh, just wherever I'll end up. That's not really flow. That's kind of like, I don't know, I'm probably not like that. But when it comes to life and how people are and how I can like either judge or just accept, right, what is, depending on the situation, I'm quite free with allowing things to just flow and be what they are. And if I need to respond or react, I will. So I hope this helps. Anyway, thank you for watching today. Take care, and I'll see you next time.